Hello, Bizorke here. Have you ever experienced the bug in game where you lose control of your character? It can sure be frustrating. Or have you ever been attacked by invisible players? Or have you ever been attacked while typing a message, and the only way to get out of it is to send your message, and look like an idiot for sending a half-sent message? Well, I'm not sure if there's anyone in the world that could tell you why these things happen, but no problem, I have just what you need right here. I fixed these problems and a lot more in my gats.io community patch. I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of work and took a lot of time to put together, but I'm proud to say that the patch is finally done and ready to be put to use by players everywhere. I think the most poignant problems with the game stem from network issues, like messages not reaching the server, or being rejected by the server, or messages not being sent to the game client. Now, my ability to completely fix some of these issues is limited because I don't have access to the server, but what I can do is correct any inconsistent game states on the client side, and that's exactly what I've done. For example, if you're getting attacked by an invisible player, the minute that player shoots, they will turn visible again so that you can see them and they don't have an unfair advantage by being partially translucent. Another fix is that if you push a directional key, it will inject a key release in the opposite direction, and that tends to fix a lot of the sticky keys problems. I went ahead and added the ability to exit chat without sending the message by pressing the escape key. It's hard to understate how valuable that is, but you guys already know that, so I need not say any more. Now, while I was at it, I noticed that there were some huge major inefficiencies with large chunks of code that basically had sections where hundreds and hundreds of lines of JavaScript were being redefined essentially every single animation frame, which if you're running a lot of blocking code on every animation frame, then you have the potential of certainly slowing down the frame rate and wasting a lot of browser resources like memory. It could even be the cause for a lot of dropped WebSocket packets. I'm not really sure, but that's all fixed now. I also did a lot of really fine tuning with some of the mathematics that were being used in very critical locations in order to speed things up. And I think that there is a noticeable improvement in the frames per second of the game. And it seems to me that from my testing and the testing of some of my beta testers, that the game appears to be less laggy as well. That doesn't automatically mean that your ping is going to be cut in half or anything like that, but you will notice a little bit of an improvement, which is nice. On the topic of ping, you can still bring up the debug menu by pressing the insert key, but I've also added a key binding for home key, which is useful for Mac users who don't have an insert key. The debug overlay is a lot more refined now. I got rid of a lot of redundant information, and I added a lot of additional information that I thought would be useful to users. For example, there is now an FPS counter, and I've added average FPS and average ping. Those are really useful because ping and FPS tend to fluctuate rapidly. Another nice thing about the debug menu is that it no longer hides the rest of your HUD. Now, I've added a few accessibility options for people with a disability. For example, you can now control your character using the I, J, K, L, Y keys, which is useful if you are left-handed. And if you happen to be a madman who prefers to use the arrow keys, you can now right-click to use your tier 2 ability, and you can middle-click to reload your gun. I think those are things that pretty much everyone can get an advantage out of, and it's not like it's an unfair advantage. These are features that you could get with a standard programmable mouse. So basically, I'm giving this ability to everyone so that you don't have a disadvantage to people who have better hardware. By popular demand, I've also added the ability to choose an upgrade by pushing a number key. Believe it or not, that sounds a lot better than it really is, because the number keys tend to be pretty far away from where you're controlling your character. But I guess it doesn't hurt to have options. And I think I've added a lot of other bug fixes. Some of them are a little bit too technical to really go into, but I mean, that gives you kind of the gist of it. Now, you're probably wondering at this point how much all of this will set you back. The patch starts at $0. That's right, you can have this patch today for absolutely free. All that I ask is that you subscribe to me on YouTube, and if you like some of my videos, share them with your friends. As many of you know, I am an indie game dev myself, and I could really use the audience. Now, for anyone who is able and willing to support the development of this patch financially, there is an option to do so. There is a pro version of this patch, which comes with a couple non-essential features. For one, you can enable or disable the recording of stats. This is really useful if, for example, you just wanted to log in and mess around, but you wanted to log in on your main character and you don't have an ad blocker. So you can just disable stats by switching the record stats button to off. And the second feature is auto messages. And essentially, this is a user interface that you can go into where you can set up automatic messages that get sent when you press certain keys. A lot of you players may have seen me doing this in-game, and yeah, it's just a way to taunt other people, or you can like warn your teammate if there are mines nearby, or really whatever you want. I made it so that it's fully customizable, and all you gotta do is type in the message that you want to send, and tell the program what key that message should be associated with. The official website for this patch is going to be gats.rocks, and when this video is uploaded, the patch will be available on the Chrome Web Store. However, I am working to port it to other browsers. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you, everybody. Go grab the patch right now and subscribe for more Bizorke.